You're watching Swipe. Coming up on this week's show.
Reusable robots. What happens to these machines when they retire? Blazing a trail in London. I meet the woman who dreamed up a bike light that's taking over the capital.
Mario time.
And Mario gets moving in our games review.
Hello and welcome to Swipe. We're forever being told that one day robots will take over our jobs. But what will happen to those automated workers once they reach the end of their life cycle? Well, some people are already finding unique and new uses for old industrial robots, as Chris has been finding out.
Meet Mimus. It's an industrial robot that has been programmed to interact with people. It uses a gesture-based software which gives it the ability to respond to humans. Sensors track and follow your movement, almost as if it's watching you.
Robots themselves, traditionally, are used to do the same thing over and over again, so lots of repetitive tasks. But the actual hardware is incredibly flexible. If you change the end effector, you can use the robot to do a number of different applications. One of the obvious challenges is the safety aspect. If you have a 1,200 kilogram robot that can move at 7 meters per second, you obviously have to treat that with respect, especially in this environment where it's interacting with the public. There are a range of fail-safes that step in should people go beyond the enclosure, and she would be able to shut down or stop moving.
Dangers aside, exhibitions like this one give a glimpse into the potential versatility of this kind of hardware.
And it's not just art installations that are using industrial robots for other things. Programmers are coming up with a wide range of applications for these machines once they retire from the factory floor.
Students at a university in Australia have taught this one to take apart electronic waste. It disassembles dangerous materials rapidly and keeps humans free from having to deal with toxic hazards. And one company is combining 3D printing technology with retired robots to create a steel bridge in Amsterdam.
Of course many things went wrong. A welding machine exploded, nozzles got stuck, and the robot got disoriented. But then they became long lines, complex curves, and double-curved oval tubes. It was like drawing in midair.
When we started out, we had an old retired robot. What we are using it for is more generative tasks, which means everything we do with the robot is unique. It's a new piece. There are many industrial robots around. Many of them are in use, but also there's a lot of them are unemployed right now. And basically you can give them a second life in what we are doing.
But not everyone is convinced these kind of projects will become mainstream.
Very, very expensive machines, very powerful and potentially dangerous. It needs some skill to program them. A little while ago you needed a degree in computer science. It's getting easier, but still you need to really know what you're doing, and sort of playing around with them is not advisable.
At the moment, repurposing these machines might be something of a niche activity. But with more and more industrial robots in circulation, it makes sense to put some thought into what to do with them when their career ends. Chris Creegan, Sky News.
Stay with us. Still to come, I'll be finding out how one tech entrepreneur is trying to save cyclists' lives. That's coming right up after a roundup of this week's tech news.
Yahoo announced that more than 1 billion user accounts may have been hacked in an attack dating back to 2013. The internet giant said names, phone numbers, passwords and email addresses may have been stolen. There's a warning: Britain is not ready for 5G. The National Infrastructure Commission says 4G coverage in the UK is worse than in Albania. Britain is 54th in the global rankings, lagging behind the networks in Romania and Peru. Amazon says it's made its first delivery by drone. The online retailer dropped off a TV streaming stick and a bag of popcorn to the garden of a customer in Cambridge. It hopes to expand the trial in the coming months, but items can't weigh more than 2.7 kilos. Apple's Bluetooth headphones have gone on sale. The AirPods were meant to come out in October, but the release was pushed back, with the company saying it needed a little more time. Apple's been criticised for its decision to remove the headphone jack on the iPhone 7. After 7 years of research and 2.3 million miles on the road, Google's driverless car tech might soon be ready for the public. The software giant announced the launch of Waymo this week, a standalone company that'll take care of the project. Still to come, we head back to Stardew Valley. But first...
4 years ago, a certain kind of bicycle light launched on a crowdfunding site, the Blaze Laser Light. Now it's being built into every one of London's public cycle hire bicycles. I've been to meet the Light's inventor, Emily Brooke, in her new London office, and I started by asking her about the success of the past 4 years.
Yeah, it's a university project that's spun a little bit out of control now.
Well, talk to us about it and just remind anyone who doesn't know what the Blaze laser light is.
So the company's called Blaze, and the first product is the laser light, which tackles the most common cause of fatality for cyclists, which is being caught in the blind spot or a vehicle in front of you turning across a bike they can't see. The laser light's a front light, it goes in the handlebars, it's got flash, bright, and brighter, and then it also has a laser, and it projects the symbol of a bike down onto the ground in front of you. You can see it on the wall there. That's squished because when it's down on the ground, it's the right perspective for the driver, and it's much bigger. It's about kind of a metre wide when it's in front of the cyclist.
Why did you think to get a picture of a bike?
Anything to make you see when you're otherwise hidden. I realised the threats in front of you. You can see them, but they can't see you. So I found myself wishing, I wish that van could see me. If I was right there, he could see me. Oh, project myself there.
Okay, and then you started off on a crowdfunding site on Kickstarter, and now you've got this big contract with London City Bikes. How did that come about?
Serco, who operate the bikes, literally went on the website one day, called the office phone number and said, "Love the innovation, can you come in for a meeting?" We worked very hard for the kind of last year and a half to develop a very different product from this that's built into the bike.
Oh, okay, so it's built into the front?
Yeah, so we actually replaced the front reflector, and in there now we have the laser, and it has a light sensor, so as soon as the bike is moving and in darkness, the laser comes on.
Have you had much criticism?
I guess in the early days, if you try and explain it to somebody, it's quite difficult to understand. It's a light that projects the image of a bike in front of the cyclist out of the blind spot, because people go, I'm not really sure that will work, how people are going to see that. They see a picture, it kind of, oh, yeah, I get that. And they see it in real life, and it immediately makes sense.
How expensive is the light?
The consumer one, this one is £125, and the one in the bike is completely different. It hasn't got the kind of aircraft-grade aluminium casings. And
is that quite expensive just for a bike light?
It is. It's the high end of a bike light.
And what next for you now? Are you going to go beyond bicycles?
We'll always be for cyclists. Bike sharing is a really exciting industry. It's growing. There's over 1,000 bike sharing schemes in the world. You know, we want to be technology partners for them and adding our technology into other schemes all around the world.
All right, good luck with it, Emily. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Now, it's been a long time coming, but the world's most famous Italian plumber is finally hitting smartphones. Here's Lucy with our games review.
Super Mario Run is a big deal. It's one of the few times that Mario is appearing on a console that's not a Nintendo one.
Oh yeah, Mario time!
He'll be available to play on your smartphone. He's coming out on iOS first and then on Android at a bit later date. Basically, it's a runner game, so Mario will run from the left to the right of your screen, and you tap to jump. So you can play a Mario game with one hand. It seems pretty straightforward, very easy, but honestly, it'll be so addictive because you've got all these coins to collect. You've got to reach the end of the level, finally hit that flagpole. But you can also kind of take on your friends and see what their high scores are and try to beat them. So I'm super excited for this one. I mean, they had it as an exclusive thing that you could play in the Apple stores, but now it's finally coming out on iOS. You might know the term Space Hulk from the Warhammer 40k universe, or the fact that it's a board game. So Space Hulk Deathwing is now actually a first-person shooter game, kind of reminiscent of Left 4 Dead, where you and 3 others team up to basically take out some alien scum.
Cover me. I will need a few minutes.
So a Space Hulk, in the lore, is a kind of debris field filled with wrecked ships and asteroids and that kind of thing. So you play as a Deathwing librarian, like a military tactician. You take your Space Hulk, you take your Space Terminators, that's actually what they're called, which is awesome, and basically just go around rampaging and killing loads of aliens. So it's coming out this week on PC and early next year for consoles. If you and your friends like to get together and play some games, Space Hulk is the one. Stardew Valley is a farming simulator, but before I lose you, it's possibly the most relaxing game ever made. So in Stardew Valley, the main character, you do what basically anyone who works in a big city wants to secretly do, which is kind of pack it all in and move to the countryside. So you take over your grandfather's old farm in Stardew Valley, and you have to basically work from, this overgrown mess and make your own farm, live off the land. You have to plant your own crops, you can rear livestock, you can craft things and sell them. You can even get married, which is quite cool. But it's basically, if you've ever played like a Harvest Moon game, you'll know exactly the kind of thing. Or even if you've been interested in Minecraft, it's the same kind of very relaxing, methodical gameplay that you can just sort of stick on and chill for a couple of hours. So it came out earlier this year on PC, and it wowed the critics and the fans. Check out its Steam rating. That is a very popular game.
Well, that's it for this week. But if you liked watching Swipe, take a look at a few more of our episodes in our YouTube playlist. Just type in Sky News Swipe and stay up to date with all the latest tech stories throughout the week on Sky News on mobile, tablet, catch up, Sky Q and Snapchat. We're all over the place. We'll be back next week with a Christmas special. Hope you can join us then. Bye-bye.